Welcome back to Indiana Diecast Racing and the never-ending action of the Final Fantasy Fracas. At some point, we'll figure out why it's called Final, but not today! Competing in Group 45, it's Lone Star from... racing for Rust Belt Diecast. Anyways, Lone Star is driving Bengal Buggy, a 58-gram Batmobile with a Nerve Hammer base. Figures we'd get another weird car from Josh. Representing Arlo Racing in the most orange car ever, it's Georg Surface. It's George Surface at the helm of Gas 2, a Dimancini Veloce. I think I said that right. Warping in from Scotland, Davrin is from Fractal Panda Racing in Orange Flash, driving... He's driving... Well, he's in a car that weighs 40 grams. Comment below if you can help me out. And lastly, from Vapor Racing, Olivia rounds out the group in a square pixel shaker weighing a hefty 82 grams called Orangina. Lap 1 for Group Orange with Lone Star and George up front, Davrin and Olivia in the back. The outside lane of George and Olivia with a strong start. They get single file in turn 2 and now Olivia challenges for the lead. Lone Star wildly spins through the S section. Oh, massive collision as Olivia is off track and Lone Star is stopped by the fallen truss. George is the only driver still rolling. He'll take a massive win here on lap 1. There's Davrin, who has wisely pulled off to the curb to avoid hitting Lone Star, but lord, that was a nutso wreck. Coming down the Coroplast, Olivia gets aggressive and seems to handle the turns well, looking inside then sliding a bit on the second piece of Coroplast, impacting the wall quite spectacularly, taking out the sign structure and effectively blocking Lone Star and Davrin from finishing the lap. I gotta wonder if that was done on purpose, as the Vapor Racing team is just too good to make mistakes like that. Arlo Racing on top after 1. Davrin assumes the pole for lap 2 with Lone Star on the outside. Olivia gives the Scott a push, and it's the inside lane with the advantage. Lone Star slides. Now Olivia dives inside Davrin but can't make it stick. Davrin slows and Olivia slingshots around the outside to take the lead and the win on lap 2. Lone Star takes third in reverse just ahead of George Surface. Olivia really put the pressure on and nearly completed a pass in the logo turn. She didn't give up though, and when Davrin moved to the inside lane just prior to the final turn, Olivia hits the gas and claims a win. Despite a 4th place finish, George is still in the lead with 5, and I'm hearing Olivia has suffered some minor damage to her front axle. Hopefully it won't affect her ability to drive, especially since she starts from the pole on lap 3. Davrin hangs with her for a moment, but now Olivia and George pull quickly ahead. Olivia looking good as she rounds Echo Base. She's on her side! Massive collision behind her, and it looks like Davrin is going to squeak through and clear the chaos. And I think we've got another triple DNF as Davrin packs away a massive 4 points on lap 3. We'll go to replay to see what happened because it didn't seem like Olivia was involved at all. Liv and George come down the Coroplast well ahead of the others, and yep, George rolled it in the Echo Base turn, setting up a 3-way collision when Davrin and Lone Star caught up. And the scary Scott has taken the lead, up by 2 points over George and 3 over Olivia heading into the final lap. George and Livo starting up front, Lone Star and Davrin in the back. I think it's fair to say George and Olivia have the fastest cars in the group, but fast don't mean nothing if you can't maintain control. They fall into single file, George, Olivia, Lone Star, and Davrin. They all go high and Olivia's all over George. She takes another look and George right there with the block. They dive for the finish and it's George. Olivia, oh no. Lone Star and Davrin have stalled out sideways on the final straight. What an epic battle between George and Olivia. Even with the damage Olivia has supposedly taken, she still made a heck of a run at the end. And Davrin's DNF puts George back on top for the win, while Olivia somehow ties it up with Davrin, and we'll have to head back to the track for a Rust Belt runoff. The coin flip puts Olivia on the inside, Davrin on the outside, and it'll be a best of 3. Olivia blasts away from Davrin, there's no question over who's got the higher top speed. She slides but keeps rolling. Davern not able to close the gap. Olivia cruises to a smooth first victory. They swap lanes and Olivia is one win away from round 2. She edges ahead and now pours on the coals. Bouncing off the walls a little, Davern much closer this time. She spins and slows. Here comes Davern, and Davern makes a lay pass on the final straight to tie it up, and that'll send us to a third lap, and it is sudden death. Olivia back on the inside lane where she was super strong that first lap. She's not mucking about. Ooh, she's wrecked! The door is open for Davern, and all he's got to do is reach the finish line. No! He's wrecked as well on what was a gimme lap, and they'll have to reset to run lap 3 again. What a break for Olivia and the Vapor Racing team. They take off, and it's another strong start for Olivia. No issues up top this time, Davern lagging a ways behind again. Olivia's already coming to the final straight, and Olivia of Vapor Racing will advance to round 2. A tough break for Davern, who despite leading the group after 3 laps will miss out on a top 2 spot. Group 46, and it's another faux Rust Belt racer. Bay City Daryl is in Jacked Up, a 48-gram nerve hammer. Vapor Racing also gets a twofer today with Jake Eli at the helm of the 62-gram retroactive called Von Opel. Jake Eli narrowly missed the semifinals in the recent Death Race tournament. Representing MQH Racing, Meteorite is driving Snow Goat, a 64-gram bully goat. Oh, okay, Snow Goat totally makes sense now. Rounding up the group is Big Mac from Blue Man Group. He's driving Blue Drifter, a Driftsta, weighing 47 grams. Driftsta. That's hard to say. Nearly 9 minutes in, this is lap 1 of the second group. Daryl and Jake Eli up front, Meteorite and Big Mac in the back. A good jump by Bay City Daryl, and he beats Jake Eli to turn 2. Jake Eli tries to pit, and Daryl's caught sideways. Jake Eli falls off the track as Daryl pulls away while Mac and Meteorite beat and bang around the square. Daryl coasts to the opening win, and this is going to be a triple DNF as Meteorite has wrecked in the Tarawa turn, and Big Mac is over by the Arlo trailer wreck. Jake Eli's wreck is brought to you by the Subtrack Safety Surface and Numbskull, who donated these yet-to-be-installed 3D printed track pieces from Spoolheads. Daryl never quite clears Jake Eli in turn 2, and it sets up some chaos in Echo Base when their slowed pace allows Mac and Meteorite to catch up, sending Jake Eli off track and enabling an easy victory for Daryl of Bay City. Bay City Daryl and Rust Belt lead Group Blue. Meteorite takes the pole for lap 2, but the outside lane of Daryl and Jake Eli are no match even on the outside lane. Jake Eli jumps the track and wrecks before turn 2. Daryl leads again, but he's hung up on the wall. Meteorite and Big Mac can't close the gap, and now Meteorite has wrecked. Big Mac chasing Daryl, and Daryl is slow on the final straight. Big Mac smashes into him, but Bay City Daryl is going to win another one. Well, 2 drivers made it to the finish line this time, but the Savage Square still wreaking havoc. The issues started early on this one, with Jake Eli hopping the wall for what seems like no apparent reason. Lap 2 should have been Daryl's to run away with at that point, but he gets loose in Echo Base and nearly replicates Jake Eli's wreck on lap 1. Meteorite rolls himself entering the square, again seemingly handing Daryl the win, but he struggles to maintain speed, and if not for a lucky block, Big Mac would have stolen the W. Bay City Daryl running away with this group, nearly tripling the total of all the other drivers at the midway point. Well, now things might get interesting as Daryl will start the remaining laps from the back row. Big Mac gets a push from Jake Eli. The front pair gets some separation, and Jake Eli is all over Big Mac. Jake Eli not giving up. They go side by side through the final turn, and Big Mac will hold on for the win on lap 3. Meteorite has wrecked again, and here comes Bay City Daryl. He's slow but still rolling. He'll make it to the line for 3rd. Jake Eli really fought hard this entire lap and made Big Mac earn that win. Meteorite really struggling with the rollovers, and Bay City Daryl, completing all 3 laps so far, clinches a top 2 spot. Big Mac now in a similar situation to Davern in Group 45, solidly 4 points ahead of Jake Eli for 2nd. Jake Eli and Bay City Daryl flashing their speed, putting Jake Eli out front, but he's going to need a DNF by Big Mac just to tie it up. A few wobbles here and there, but all of Group 46 is rolling this time. Lap 4 will be Jake Eli, Bay City Daryl. Well, crap. It's another double DNF as both Big Mac and Meteorite have wrecked on the back straight. Daryl wins Group 46, but holy cow, we've got another tie, so Rust Belt Customs is going to get another plug as we're headed to a runoff. Big Mac starts inside, Jake Eli outside. It's a close start through turn 1. Now Jake Eli edges ahead. Big Mac falling way behind. Lap 1 goes to Vapor Racing. They swap lanes, and Jake Eli is 1 win away from completing that massive comeback. Jake Eli gets even farther out front this time. Not a bad run by Mac, the speed disparity is just too great. Rust Belt and Vapor Racing take Group 46. Outside of Daryl's 13, some lower than average scores today. And no new additions to the wildcards. Congratulations to George Surface, Olivia, Bay City Daryl, and Jake Eli. This has been Jim D for Indiana Diecast Racing. Be sure to check it next time for more slightly above mediocre diecast racing and the continuing round 1 action of the Final Fantasy Fracas. I'm beat. That was a lot of talking.